Marshal Magic Calda was the only Marine not to make a statement to the NCIS.
I knew that what we were doing wasn't the right way to do things, but I didn't know that my activity would be considered criminal in that I figured, hey, you know, my sergeant's here, he's telling me this is the plan, this is what he wants done.
When the Marines were held at Camp Fallujah in Iraq, Magic requested an attorney, refused to sign or say anything.
I don't agree with shooting the guy, even though he's telling me he's a bad dude, and we have, you know, a lot of, we know he's a bad guy.
Magic Calda exploded in anger after learning that the other squad members had made signed statements to the NCIS.
I'm upset with my actions over there for not stopping what happened, but at the same time, I would also like to take this time to let you know that I don't think you guys understand what's going on over there.
While the 7 Marines and 1 Navy corpsman headed home in a transport vehicle, they all agreed to claim that the statements had been coerced.
This is a war. This is a war.
Viewing what Magic Calda went through his eyes, I can pretty much tell you that he classified NCIS agents as hostile and refused to cooperate with them. NCIS put me into an interrogation room with 2 agents, and they started asking me questions. I gave them the story that I was supposed to give about what happened that night. Guy out there digging a hole, fired off an AK-47, we killed him. And they said, so what really happened? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, you know what, all your other boys have already given out statements. And they let me see Bakos' statement, Jackson's statement, Shoemate's statement. And they said, you know what, if you don't cooperate with us right now, you're gonna be looking at the death penalty. And I decided to give my statement to NCIS about what happened that night. And we all found out that all of our statements were pretty much coerced. We were all denied the right to a lawyer. They all pretty much threatened all of us with the death penalty unless we cooperated. And we all swore up and down we're not going to take any deals. We all looked at Bakos and said, look, we know you broke first. Don't do it again, and you're back. Bakos swore to us that he wasn't going to take a deal. And we believed him. I honestly thought we had a really good chance of fighting it. When Jodka took his deal, it was the final just insult. I couldn't take that anymore. At that point, I seriously started considering a deal. Then Shoemate took a deal, and Jackson took a deal. I sat Magic and Thomas down one day, and I said, look, I can't do this anymore. I don't have the same defense you guys have. I can't do it. Out of all the statements that were initially taken by NCIS, and none were so thoroughly detailed as mine, I regret that extremely. But those words are down on record. I could say they were coerced, but they're still down on record. I, more than anyone else, was absolutely clear on what my intentions were that night. More than anyone else, I didn't care.
Despite the best efforts of the NCIS to construct a clear-cut narrative, many of the Marines' accounts of what happened that night had contradictory details. Out of all the Marines' statements to the NCIS, none stood out more than Larry Hutchins. Hutchins claimed that 2nd Lieutenant Nathan Fan was the originator of the plot to kidnap Salade Goad and kill him, and that Fan's original plan was for Hutchins, Thomas, and Magic Calda to take Goad from his home in the middle of the night, drive him to the border of their area of operations, slit Goad's throat, and drop him into a canal. According to Hutchins, Fan's canal plan was dropped on the night of the killing in favor of the staged IED plan. Hutchins also claimed that he had no idea that the man Thomas, Magic Calda, Pennington, and Bakos brought back to the IED hole that night was Hashim Ibrahim Awad, and not their intended target, Salade Goad. According to a statement to the NCIS, Jerry Shoemate was also under the impression that the man they shot that night was their original target, known insurgent Salade Goad. If Hutchins was ordered by Fan to kill Goad, the outcome of all the trials would have changed. If Hutchins was ultimately acting on orders and thought the man they killed was a known terrorist suspect, how would that have changed his fate? It was an open secret in Iraq that Marine units were going on capture and kill missions, and that there were terrorist lists. According to Hutchins, there were 2 orders he was given in Iraq by his superiors. One was to bring a terrorist suspect in for interrogation. The other was to find the suspect and eliminate him. These operational procedures were denied by the military and kept quiet for political reasons. While the American public were being told that we were capturing the hearts and minds of the Iraqi people, the reality on the ground was calculated death squads trying to eliminate Al-Qaeda and other insurgent activities. Hutchins defense counsel Rich Brannon touted the existence of classified information that could exonerate his client. Brannon stated, "There are 10 pages of information that is classified. If that information were to be allowed into the courtroom, Hutchins would be a free man." It remains unclear as to what this information is, why the U.S. government possibly suppressed it, or even if it existed in the first place.
There's just such a difference between the rules on the ground and the rules in the air. We seem to have a greater latitude for civilian deaths when it's done from 20,000 feet with a so-called smart bomb than we do when it's done by 19-year-olds coming within 60 feet of the target and squeezing the trigger of an M16.
What troubles me the most today, and what I think about over and over and over again, is what caused this to happen? What has happened to all these young heroes that we send over there who come back either as basket cases or snap while they're over there?
These kids are trained to kill. They're sent over there to kill people and to end the war, you know? That's what they're sent there for. I mean, let's be real. I don't know what they expect. And they go over there and they do their job, and now they're gonna, you know, prosecute them for killing the people they were trained to kill, you know? I mean, you know, it's a catch-22.
I am convinced that these kinds of shootings go on all the time over there.
I think it was just a matter of time before something like this came out. I mean, if you look at it, there's like Marines in the brig right now, and they're in trouble for the same stuff. And I think we were just like, we're just the first people to get brought to the limelight.
They knew it was outside the law, but the law wasn't protecting them. I think it was Pennington who said at one of the other, when he was compelled to testify after cutting his deal, that the rules weren't protecting us. Marines were dying. We had to do this. And again, that's the moral complexity of it. I think every one of them thinks they did what they had to do to survive and to help their fellow Marines, sailors, come home alive.
What I did was right in my eyes because it saved lives. What I did was wrong by the letter of the law. I knew this and I accepted that.
صراحة يعني أنا أعرف يعني شنو مصيرنا؟ يعني ليش احنا متبهدلين هيجي؟ يعني أبويا ورا راس الخيمة مالتنا، وأنا يعني أكبر واحد بالبيت. مثل ما تعرفون يعني قلت لكم ذكرت لكم أنا طالب، يعني شنو اللي أقدر أسوي يعني لأهلي والخواتي، خواتي الأربعة وأخوي الصغير وأمي، يعني شو أقول لكم عليه؟ موقف يعني ما نتصوره، يعني هذا الشيء صار كنت لو قدام عيننا والسلاح جابوا لنا للبيت بحيث يعني كأنه ما هو صدق يعني كان بالقاعدة.